This is Jenny Bell from Clarington, Ohio, and I'm listening to Barbecue Central.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live.
Okay.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is a show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling. Believe it or not, we originate right here in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city and the barbecue capital of the North Coast, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard. If tonight is your night, if you want to jump in on the show tonight via the phones or in lieu of the spoken word, the written word, here's how you do that.
You can get in touch with the show by calling 216-220-0966. Email Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. On the Twitter and Instagrams at BBQ Central Show.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, a quarterly guest, somebody, as we look at jobs within this live fire industry and realm, it's got to be one of the top jobs that we all think we might want to have, that we would aspire to, that if for whatever reason my first guest in the first interview segment should find his untimely demise or he got shit canned, we would be applying potentially for this job, all of us, right off the bat. It is the keeper of the flame, Max Good from AmazingRibs.com. He is, of course, in charge of doing all of the grill and cooker reviews for AmazingRibs.com. He is always being lavished with the best, the mediocre, and the worst of what the industry has. He put it through its paces and then will unbiasedly rate them. So as you look through the internet and try and find some really good info and really good reviews on things, before you go out and spend your discretionary income, a lot of people in this industry are hitting up AmazingRibs.com. Certainly that portion as well. Heavily trafficked. We got some new things to talk about. The best new products of 2019. With Max, of course, we'll be focusing more on the cooker side of things versus the gadgets and so forth. So you're looking forward to that here in about 11 minutes from now. Then 35 past the hour, a little bit of a late book. Had somebody drop out. Luckily, just by happenstance, he text messaged me last night and said, hey, if you got a dropout, if you're looking for anybody, would love to come on. We got some things to talk about. I think in 2019, he was supposed to be a quarterly guest, and I have perhaps let it fall through the cracks, just missing it, of course. Or we can say we're going very late on quarters here. It is the very first in the country ever, the very first full-time barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. Well, anywhere in the country, but working for Texas Monthly. That is Daniel Vaughn, the barbecue snob. tmbbq.com, his website that he's keeping up all the time for Texas Monthly. And we have 3 or 4 hot items to talk about, not the least of which is a book that he appears to have co-authored with Sam Jones from Sam Jones Barbecue. If you know Sam, if you've ever heard of a little place called the Skylight Inn down the Carolina way, Sam Jones, part of that lineage, has that pitmaster background, has split away from Skylight, gone into his own business with the Sam Jones Barbecue. But now they have a penned a book together, so we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking maybe not about what the 2019 look of the BBQ Hall of Fame might have in store. We'll also be talking about the latest top 25 new barbecue joints intake. Lots of stuff to talk about. That's Daniel Vaughn in about a half hour from now. Then we will turn to the second hour, and we have a jam-packed second hour as well. In that first interview segment in the second hour, we'll be talking with longtime show sponsor Ted Conrad from Fireboard. But we will stack Ted Conrad. I will see your Ted Conrad and raise you a Joe Phillips from Yoder Smoker together. We're all going to sit around the table at the end of last week. There was a big announcement through Yoder and Fireboard about a new product, kind of a new coalition of the willing, if you will. Little business agreement there between Yoder and Fireboard, one doing something for the other, one helping bring a level of technology to the cooker that it didn't have before, but in a way that the cooker manufacturer wanted to bring it to the market. So we'll talk with Joe Phillips from Yoder and Ted Conrad from Fireboard to see how that relationship started, where the interest started to fire off, and how they were actually put it together, leading to that announcement at the end of last week. So we're on the tail end of that as far as a news break is concerned, but we'll be able to look a little bit more in-depth with the two highest people that I can think of from their respective companies. So Joe is a co-owner, co-founder of Yoder, and Ted Conrad, obviously one of the founders over there at Fireboard as well. And then we will close the show out this evening with a first-time guest. His name is Chef Jason Morse, and he is the barbecue and grilling expert for Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware has a very large national project going on this week called BBQ Fest, hashtag BBQ Fest. And if you are around one of the 3,300 participating Ace Hardware stores this weekend, they're going to be cooking out. They're going to be demoing products. There's probably going to be great deals and food and all this other stuff. So if you are lucky enough to be around an Ace Hardware store that is participating in this event, you're certainly going to enjoy the food and the demo stuff. But there's got to be some great deals for you to have. And of course, the Centralites love deals. Checking in with John Dawson here, and of course,
Andrew,
wait a second, of course, we got some breaking news here.
BBQ Central Show exclusive news.
As I am prone to do every once in a while, we call it the Rempy-isms alert. It's not to review objectively, it's to review unbiasedly. John, leave me alone!
Get that big stuff out of here.
Of course I meant unbiasedly, without bias. That is, isn't that objectively? Right? Unbiased reviews from, look at it from an objective, not a, flippity flu. Subjective, right? Subjective is what I think. You think you got an A on that paper, but I think you got an F. Subjective. It's subjective. Whatever. We continue on. That's what you have to look forward to this evening. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Don't forget, you can follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter, /BBQ Central Show on Facebook, which is where some of you are watching this show. If you want to drop in and take part in the instant chat that I actually monitor, head on over to the YouTube Live page. Go to my website, then click on the YouTube Live block right up there at the top, and you can join such luminaries as Yins Love Barbecue, the Cookout Coach, Smokin' Joe's Barbecue Pit, Gregory Velasquez, John Dawson, Stex Doug, just to name a few, John Solberg, luminaries, I'm telling you. Email from Steve in Pittsburgh. Greg, I am following Girls Can Grill, Malcolm Reed, Dr. Barbecue, Chris Lilly, Chris Grove, and that tool Mikey from Man Meat Barbecue on Instagram. And I see they're in Worcester, Ohio at Certified Angus Beef for some kind of barbecue summit. I assume you declined the invite, or maybe Worcester is too far from Cleveland. Looks like a great time and something you could probably cover with your Rempy remote gear like you did for that NBBQA thing last year. Love the show. Keep up the great work. Best regards, Steve from the city of the winning football team. Steve, I'm going to take issue with that going forward. We'll see who the winning football team is going forward, my friend, and I use that term loosely. To answer your question, I, too, am following all those people on Instagram, but don't assume that I declined the invite. the invite. Hard to decline what thou does not receive. And Worcester is not.
Andrew, you are not the
Worcester is not that far away from Cleveland. In fact, I have 2 or 3 pretty big accounts in my day job that are around Worcester or some of the surrounding areas. And from my doorstep to Worcester is exactly 60 minutes. Exactly 60 minutes south and just a little bit due east. So once again, didn't decline the invite, didn't get the invite. And from the looks of it, you either need to be a really big name, which I'm not, or you need to have a really big social following, which I don't. But look, unlike some people, I'm not going to go out and buy my followers. I'm not saying anybody in particular, but I think if you go through some of those people that I might have just mentioned right off the top as I was reading that email, okay, some of those are bought. These are things you got to look into. Not all of them. Some of them are doing it the right way. You would see those people, they show up on my show. Steve didn't get the invite. Sorry. Maybe next time I will rate an hour away. Let me talk to you quickly about Green Mountain Grills before we get to Max Good from AmazingRibs.com. Some of the best pellet cookers out there on the market today. Talk to you about them each and every week. If you have a charcoal cooker, if you've been thinking about getting into the pellet game or adding something to the arsenal, I mean, I'm a full and firm believer of having multiple cookers because it lends itself to a number of different situations. You can have a charcoal cooker, a couple pellet cookers, a stick burner. Have them all, and then you can pick which ones you want. Now, from a pellet point of view, what's more convenient than filling up a pellet hopper with pellets, picking a temperature, hitting go, and then you're done. Just make sure that thing's full of pellets. Put on your products, whatever you like. Maybe you're doing some ribs or some pork butts or chicken. You can do all of it. As long as that thing's full of pellets, plug it in, start it up. It will just run and run and run. Clean it out again every now and again. A couple different lines for you to choose from on the Green Mountain Grill side. The Prime, which is just recently out. A little bit more robust of a chassis, built to last, as they say. Got a peeper window in the main cooking chamber. Also one on the side there for the pellet hopper. Got a vacuum extension attachment all running on the 12-volt technology that the shortest and smallest one, the Davy Crockett, was originally founded on, now spacing all the way through the Prime line, the Jim Bowie, the Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett, as I had mentioned before. Davy Crockett is really good if you're into those tailgates or you're really on the go. You want to bring pellet-fired, wood-smoked goodness with you, but in a travel size. And if you don't have access to that power outlet, no need to worry. Just plug it right into the 12-volt in your car. Away you go. The website is greenmountaingrills.com. When you are there, not only can you search the products, you can look at all the other accessories that they have, rubs and sauces and hooks and mitts and all that. greenmountaingrills.com. That's greenmountaingrills.com. Longtime supporter and sponsor of this show, which we appreciate. And we are back with Max Good from AmazingRibs.com. Stick around. Be right back.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Hey, welcome back. This portion of the show is being brought to you by Butcher BBQ, makers of award-winning injections, marinades, rubs, seasonings, barbecue sauces, grilling oils. All of Butcher BBQ products have been tested on the competition circuit as well as in the backyards worldwide. Be the pitmaster of your neighborhood. Visit butcherbbq.com. That's butcherbbq.com. Always trust your butcher. Joining me now in a quarterly report and the newly released 2019 AmazingRibs.com best new products list, as we will get into here. Good friend of this show, Max Good. Max, how are you, buddy?
Hey, doing all right. Great to see you again, Greg.
Good to see you, Max. I said quarterly. I know we're a little off of that, but we'll get back on track here as the year progresses. Or, as usually happens, I will be seen as a liar. Scheduling issues continue to run abound, but we will certainly do our best to stay on task here, Max. So let's go ahead first, because we have quite a little bit of a list to get through, so I want to make sure that we spend not an incredible amount of time on each one, but tease it properly so we could advance people over to AmazingRibs.com to really get into the nuts and bolts of these cookers after you give us some evaluation. Now, to keep us on track tonight, Max, here's what I've done. If you or I seem to be getting a little long in the tooth, all of a sudden you're going to hear this. Now, you probably recognize that as like a horn that sounded when a goal happens in Titletown, right? Oh, wait, that's Detroit. Where's Chicago? You used to have a hockey team in Chicago, right?
Oh, yes, we do.
Blackhawks?
Yep.
Yeah, so there we go. So if you think I am going on and on, hold your hand up and I'll ring myself.
I fear I'm going to be the guilty party,
Well,
as usual.
You never know. You never know. Just don't be shy. Just hold your hand up if I'm running a little long. I'm always happy to self-punish, if you will. All right, so 2019 best new products. Let's quickly go over how the list is generated and the areas and or segments that it covers.
Well, this was a new thing. We haven't done it before, and it just came about kind of spontaneously, if you will. And so we just, all of us looked back over products that we had tested and reviewed over the past year plus, 2018 rolling up into the beginning of 2019. And of course, we have tested and reviewed some products we didn't like, so those were automatically eliminated. But each one of us, like Bill, who does our thermometer reviews, he immediately started thinking about this one and that one, and those are pretty nice. And Clint had been working on some tools, and he went back over some other reviews that have been up for a little while. And then, of course, little old me, I had a bunch of products, and a couple of the ones that made it to the list we've talked about already. One was actually tested and reviewed by Meathead. Another one was tested and reviewed by our editor, the famous Dave Drackham.
Mm-hmm. So when you are... So this isn't in lieu of any of the the gold awards or the silver awards, or this is just something to supplement.
Right. It's not really an award. Well, I guess you could say it's an award, but it's not like the gold medals. Once you get those, unless your product goes down the tubes for some reason, I can't even think of an occasion where that has happened. It's more likely where we give a lower rating to a product, and then the manufacturer may respond to some of our criticisms and correct it, in which case we'll upgrade it. Another new thing, though, is we came up with the creme de la creme. Gold medal wasn't good enough for Meathead.
No.
We have now our Platinum Awards,
Platinum.
which we have decided would be for products that perennially we think are outstanding. The best new products will change every year, though the medals remain, unless, as I said, disaster happens.
Got it. So, I mean, you have to make sure that you are constantly going back to these platinum items to make sure that they haven't taken a leap over the fence, though, correct?
This is true, yes. Yeah. Okay. And there are products that we think are special. And, there's probably many other that could have been uplifted to a platinum award, and we may be looking at them throughout the year.
All right, Max Good joining me here on the show. AmazingRibs.com is the website, of course. He is the grill and cooker reviewer over there, or as we know him, the keeper of the flame. Let's go ahead and start getting into the list here. The first thing that I have up here from a grill and cooker standpoint is the Char Griller Grillin' Pro Gas Grill Review, or Gas Grill. And I think as we had talked about, this might have been one that we had mentioned before. I'm not down on Char Griller, but I mean, I think if you go back through the archives of this show, I certainly have been a little bit more than abrupt with some of my thoughts and reviews on their products. But I mean, I think they've earned that to a certain degree. But this one seems to step out of the mold of, cheap and crappy, if you will.
Well, it is cheap, and that's why I like it, and that's why I made this list. And I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of char griller products, but they do make a couple things, like their Acorn Kamado for the price. I mean, they're getting some competition now from Pit Boss in particular, and everybody and their brother wants to get on pellet smokers and Kamados. But for a long time, there was nothing in that price range except the char griller Acorn. They make some other good. Their covers are pretty good and inexpensive as well. But this Grillin' Pro has been around for a long time, and that's one of those things. Since I'm not a big char griller guy, that I would walk past it at Home Depot and go, poo, that can't be any good. But I'd been hearing some rumblings about that it was pretty powerful. Mm-hmm. And I read a couple other reviews from reputable folks stating the same. And coincidentally, right about the same time, somebody affiliated working with them with PR or something contacted me and wanted me to review. I think they wanted me to review another new Kamado they were coming up with, and I said, well, I'm not as interested in that, but I am interested in your Grillin' Pro. And they sent it to me, and lo and behold, it's got some power, man. That thing can get way over 800 degrees. Wow. With just those three main burners. And a thing about gas grills is that they oftentimes have a limited range. They don't go down as low as you'd like them to go, and they don't go up as hot as you'd like them to go. That's really rather typical, particularly in the low and moderate price ranges. So to get something like this, it's $200 that you can really do some serious searing with is caught my eye in a big way. Now, it's not built to last. You got to be realistic about it. But it's I call it a disposable grill. I think there's a lot of people that just want to buy an inexpensive gas grill. They don't do a lot of fancy cooking on it. Maybe they do, but maybe they don't. But they also don't like to clean it. They don't like to maintain it. And if you don't do that, you could spend a gazillion bucks on a grill. And if you don't take care of it, it's not going to perform or last the way you had hoped. So this is for the disposable grill crowd. I would recommend it for somebody who only wants to spend a couple $100. Just be careful. Just keep it in mind. It's super powered. But if you ever want to do something like make fajitas or grill shrimp or something real high temperature, you're not going to find anything else in this price range that gives you that kind of pure searing power. And sear your brains out for a few years. Once it's rusting out and all gunked up, go buy another one.
That's right. All right. So for a couple $100, you got a searing machine, no doubt the Char Griller Grillin' Pro gas grill. The other one, I have one in my backyard. I've seen them kind of starting to float around as the new Weber Genesis 2, the E335. It's 3 burners. It's got that little extra helper burner in between the middle and the right side. It's got a optional side burner. I love it. I had a Fervor Icon 350 that was gifted to me by one of the higher end guys there at Al Fresco Living when we were down in, where the hell were we that year for the show, Atlanta, for that HPB Expo. Yeah. And so he came over and we set the grill up and it looked good, but I just didn't do it for me, and I found myself wanting to go back to the Weber because I had a Weber for 10, 11 years prior to that. And now we have the Weber Genesis 2, which I know had fixed some things that you weren't too keen on in the last version. So this is definitely one that is back on the top list here of 2019.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I really like this one a lot. When they came up with the Genesis 2 in 2017, we and others were rather disappointed. And I think Weber corrected their course here pretty quick. This is an all-new line. They still call it Genesis 2. We call it Genesis 2 2.0. It's vastly improved from the original rollout of the new Genesis 2. And yeah, I mean, occasionally we hear from somebody who goes, you guys always recommend Weber, and with the exception of that last rollout of the Genesis 2.
Yeah, but what's that tell you, right? I mean, if you can't just be a Weber shill if you are critical at some point. I mean, that's just telling it like it is.
Well, you know, if we had loved the last version of it, we would have said so, but we didn't, and we said so.
Right.
And but now they're back in business, and I guess my point was getting to be that most people who buy Weber continue they have brand loyalty for a lot of reasons, not only because they consistently make good products, and you know the consensus is that, but they also give you fantastic customer support. You know, their motto is Weber for life, and they try to earn that every year, I think. But we do occasionally get people who don't like them. I mean, I don't think that there is any one thing in the whole world throughout history of humanity that every single person has loved. But Weber does a pretty dang good job.
Max, the next one, probably a little higher in the echelon of disposable income, is that Heston Outdoor Gas Grill. I mean, if people aren't familiar with it, just Google image Heston Grill, Hestan. I saw these at that same outdoor show that I was talking about when we were down there in Atlanta for the first time, and they're just absolute pieces of art. Almost put it in the same vein of getting a Porsche 911 or some type of a Ferrari. Love to look at it. Would really hate to actually take it out and use it because I wouldn't want to do anything wrong to it.
Well, you know, they are pretty, but they're not just to look at.
Right, to use for sure.
Just like you and I, Greg. I mean,
of course. You got to
like,
use us too, Max.
Us,
that's right.
You know,
use us.
Yeah, that's
Keep
right.
us going. Damn it.
But yeah, they have some unusual shapes and some really attractive, bright colors that are eye-popping. But, you know, they do deliver the goods too. Really super quality craftsmanship. A great deal of versatility. We love the unusual rotisserie setup they have. You know, in a gas grill, rotisserie will often have a infrared back burner at the back. Well, Heston has a unique design where that burner is above where the rotisserie spit would go. And it also has an adjustable warming rack that you can slide out and slide back in at different levels. And that is right underneath that overhead burner, so it acts like a broiler. It's a beautiful piece of equipment. They make a lot of stuff, and I have this thought that, you know, we're always belly aching about. We wish that gas grill manufacturers would come up with thermostatically controlled gas grills.
Right.
I wonder if they might be the first to do it because they have a lot of technology in place. They're a huge company. Not only are they making outdoor equipment, but they make a lot of indoor stuff that's also beautiful, not only for residential, but for commercial use. They make big commercial equipment as well. So these guys are on the move. They've already got a lot of Wi-Fi controlled kitchen stuff. You know, they have their smart pan that you get an app like you got with your pellet smokers now, and it'll guide you through a recipe right there in your kitchen, and it'll control the heat on the pan and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So you know, many of these gas grill manufacturers, you mentioned the HPV Expo, which I go to every year, and I'm always saying, so when's it coming? When's it coming? And we're working on it. I know everybody would like to be the first. Now, if Heston does it, it's not going to be cheap, but it would be great to see at some point Weber or Charbroil or whoever, you know, come in with something more affordable that everybody could have. Once you start using pellet smokers and you get used to that ease of use where you just set the temperature and walk away, you know, it spoils you. You love it, and it would be great to have it on a gas grill as well. I know it's going to happen, Greg.
We'll see when it does. The last one that I want to ask you about here, because I'm sure we're going to be running out of time, is the Slow and Sear Deluxe Kamado. And you had kind of referenced Kamados in general a little bit earlier. I've been seeing a large influx of what appear to be kind of, let's say, no-name brand Kamados, not a Big Green Egg, not a Kamado Joe, or some of the ones that have that name brand recognition to it. So tell me a little bit about the Slow and Sear Deluxe Kamado and what this separates.
Well, it is very different, and people who come to AmazingRibs.com regularly probably know that the Slow and Sear is a optional item that was made initially to go into a Weber kettle, charcoal burning kettle, and it's like those little trays that come with Weber's and Napoleon kettles, where you can fill these little half moon shaped containers with charcoal and push them off the side, so you have indirect zone in the middle of the round cooking surface and heat coming up from both sides. But the Slow and Sear is one large funnel shaped charcoal bin, and it also has an inserted water reservoir for humidity, and can act to some degree as a barrier between the red hot coal and the other side that you want to have a more moderate temperature. Well, it works really great on round charcoal grills, most of them at any rate, and but it will not fit in standard Kamados. So the company, Adrenaline Barbecue, had to design their own Kamado that's specifically made for this. And it is very unique, and it works very well. I did a reverse sear last night, and the steaks came out fantastic. Instead of the charcoal being down at the bottom of the Kamado, it places it up high off to one side, and that isolates the heat, so the whole Kamado doesn't heat up. When you have a big pile of charcoal at the bottom, it's going to heat up the walls and the dome eventually. Now, of course, we know there are dividers where you can set something off to the side, but it's still generally at the bottom there. Right. This having it off the side, it really keeps the bottom and the opposite side and the opposite side dome at a more moderate temperature. It really provides that two-zone separation. And then when you are ready to sear, you have that red-hot charcoal right up under the cooking surface, because it's, it's a funnel shape, and it goes pretty much all the way up to the grill grate area. So you actually have to make sure unless you're a real heat fiend, you have to make sure that you don't have that red hot charcoal filling it to the brim, or you might get too much of a good thing. What kind of a price point are we looking at here, and does it come with the nest and some side tables and whatnot? It comes with a lot of good stuff, but yeah, it's about $1,600. This is a new item. We'll see what happens with it. But it does come with a lot of goodies. It comes with a solid stainless steel nest, which is nice, 4 legs. It has side shelves, no tool hooks. I'm kind of surprised. It comes with it's half moon shaped drip pan that you can put on the indirect side at the bottom. And of course, as a drip pan, you might be cooking on the main surface, you might be cooking ribs or pork butt or whatever, and it's going to drip down on there, right? But it also comes with a rack that fits in the drip pan. So let's say you want to do a roast. Now you've got that lifted up off the drip pan surface itself. You're catching the drippings for gravy and what have you. And if you want to, you can take that same drip pan and throw it right over the red hot coal and use it as a griddle. It also comes with an extender grate for extending capacity. Nice. So that is the Slow and Sear Kamado grill, around $1,600 or so. For a complete list, because there are other gadgets and so forth, go to AmazingRibs.com, and I'm sure there's a link right there to the 2019 AmazingRibs.com Best New Products. In the meantime, let's say around every quarter or so, you will see this guy right here, the keeper of the flame, Max Good from AmazingRibs.com on the Barbecue Central Show. Max, always appreciate the time. Thanks so much. Thank you very much, Mr. Rempe. You got it. There he is. That is Max Good from Amazing Ribs. There we go. From AmazingRibs.com. Some of those we had gone over in the past, but they are well worth the re-mention, especially looks like some of you guys might be in the market for new grills of some kind of sort. And I say, hey, always have more than one. Have many. Many is good. Many is good.
Okay, folks, for those of you that are interested in the business of barbecue, let me talk to you quickly about Southside Market and Barbecue, then I'll tell you why I'm talking about the business aspect. First of all, Southside was established in 1882, one of the oldest, or the oldest barbecue joint in Texas. They've been owned and operated by the same family for 3 generations. They offer premium Central Texas barbecue products, slow smoked over real wood. Shipping, distributing, manufacturing sausages for companies across the U.S. From food trucks to multi-chain restaurants, Southside Sausage can be on your menu too. That's why I'm talking about business of barbecue. If you have a food truck, if you have a restaurant, if you're going to do a pop-up, you can get some great Southside Market sausage to complement what you're going to be doing already. All the meats are processed in the on-site USDA-inspected facility. They're a trusted partner with a focus on quality and authenticity. Wholesale options are available. They ship nationwide via FedEx or through food service distributions like Sysco, U.S. Foods, or Martin Foods. Co-packaging capable from research and development to package completion. They can follow your recipe or help you develop something brand new. They also have private label opportunities if you're interested in doing that. Go to the website, southsidemarket.com, for more information. And while you're there, pitching all of the great items into your cart. As you check out, you can save 10% off the entire order, not just one time, but all the times you visit. 10% when you use code BBQ Central, all one word, lowercase. That's BBQ CENTRAL, BBQ Central. You get 10% off the entire online order. Good for you podcast listeners. And live. Listen, do it live. We do it live.
We'll do it live. Okay.
10% off with BBQ Central. We are back with the Barbecue Snob. Right after this, stick around. Be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, we are back. Trying to make sure I get some kind of picture there, a DV up. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com. Your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. Visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit amazon.com as well. Whatever's easiest for you. My next guest is the very first full-time barbecue editor for a magazine in the country. You also see him on this show from time to time giving his thoughts on the world of barbecue and more. Tonight we're chatting a bit about a new book coming out May 7th entitled Whole Hog BBQ, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue, with recipes from Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue. Let's head to the Fogo Charcoal Hotline and welcome back the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly Magazine, friend of this show, Daniel Vaughn. Daniel, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you, Greg?
Absolutely fabulous, Daniel. Appreciate you making time for the show here. A couple different ways that we are going to head this evening here. First and foremost, what do you know about the Certified Angus Beef Barbecue Summit? Isn't that something that you went to? Let me step back here because it
are
might...
Are you talking about the Certified Angus Beef Barbecue Summit that's in my hometown of Worcester, Ohio?
Yes! Worcester! Let me back out just for a second because it seems like I'm maybe coming out of nowhere, but I got an email from a listener at the top of the show saying, hey, I'm following, a handful of luminaries in the barbecue world, and they're all down in Worcester at the Certified Angus Beef. Did you decline an invite, or, is Worcester too far from Cleveland? And I said, well, geez, it's hard to decline something that you don't get. And no, Worcester is exactly 1 hour from my house. So is this something that you had
Greg,
went to?
It seems that you and I are not luminaries this year.
What? How can this be? Daniel, I don't know. I don't want to talk for you, but I seem to be working harder than ever. There's got to be a reward at the end here, right?
Yeah, you'd think so. I'm getting a bit of FOMO just going through the Instagram feed, looking at all my buddies who are hanging out in Ohio, eating all kinds of good beef, making sausages. Maybe next year, Greg.
What's the experience like? I mean, I've never been. It's been a couple years since you've been there, but like, what do they change it up? Is it kind of the same every time?
Yeah, well, actually, the year that I went, we tasted quite a few different cuts, all done in a smoker. So it was basically like, instead of just feeding brisket or beef ribs, I mean, they smoked like a whole chuck. They were smoking some extreme wet aged beef as well. I actually stopped in there one other time, just kind of on my own while I was back at home visiting family, and we tried a 6-month-old brisket, one that had been sitting in plastic in cryovac for 6 months.
Wow.
And they smoked it up to see what that extreme wet aging did to the brisket, and if it improved its tenderness or anything. It may have improved its tenderness a bit, but not enough to overcome, I guess, what it did to the flavor, which was not positive.
Oh, that's too bad. Daniel Vaughn joining me here on the show. All right, so let me ask you this as we kind of put a bow on the certified Angus beef thing. Because there's a number of people that have been on this show that are, within a 60-minute radius of my house, should I start a new show banning rule where if you come into Cleveland, even if you're headed out of the metro area and you don't message me at a minimum to say hi, that you are instantaneously banned from the show for life? And I understand that might seem a little severe, but let's lay this out. For example, a Daniel Vaughn comes to Cleveland once a year, twice a year. You got, as you had mentioned, family ties back in the Worcester area. But not only do you hit me up when you're in Cleveland proper, but typically you're hitting me up a week or two in advance at a minimum just to say, hey, I'm going to be jammed up when I'm in town, but I just wanted to let you know I was going to be in, say hi, blah, blah, blah. It's the courtesy of letting me know that you're on my turf. Is that an unreasonable expectation?
I certainly don't think so.
Of course.
And yeah, we shared a great meal at Larder there in Cleveland.
Yes.
One of the best new restaurants in the country, I believe.
That's right. It's courtesy. That's all I'm asking. All right, Daniel, let's talk about.
And I would think, I might surmise here that certified Angus beef. I mean, maybe this is just all in payback for the fact that I co-authored a book on whole hog barbecue that's coming out this week. So
I see. Well,
it's all about the pig here.
We dovetail nicely as you are talking about this book called Whole Hog Barbecue, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue, with recipes from Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue. That's going to be released May 7th, so about a week or so away from getting the book actually dropped. I don't know if you knew this or not, Daniel, but it is currently ranked #1 of new releases in the potato cooking section. On Amazon. I don't know
we were looking for the potato lovers out there. So
mission accomplished.
There's a potato salad recipe in there, and it's a doozy.
So let's talk about the book. I mean, I know in the beginning you were a blogger. You like to track down the exploits, obviously, with the job that you currently have, writing there as well. But putting a book together with Sam Jones, how does that come about? And I guess it comes as no surprise if you're co-writing with him. This is going to have to do with the traditional whole hog type barbecue. Yeah,
that's right. It really started with a visit to Skylight Inn. This is back before Sam Jones Barbecue existed. So Sam, he's the third generation in his family, the Jones family there in Ayden, North Carolina. Skylight Inn is a legendary place. It's been around since 1947, and they do Eastern North Carolina style whole hog barbecue. And I came in for a visit, and I went back to the pit room hoping to find Sam back there, and he was about hip deep in a trench that he was digging, trying to find a water leak in an irrigation system back in the back of the property. So he kind of does it all there. He's also the fire chief in Ayden, so right. He's in charge of putting out the fires and building them. So,
do you approach him about putting a book together? Like, how does the actual system come in place?
Yeah, well, it was actually my book agent. So David Hale Smith, he's been my agent on a couple of projects, and Sam tells such great stories. And I was really just sitting around at Big Apple Barbecue one year up in New York. It's like, we really got to write a book with this guy. He tells such great stories, and that's really how it came about. And it was years, literally years of just hanging out with Sam at different events, going to North Carolina, doing interviews with him and his family, collecting all those interviews, transcribing them all, and then putting them down together in a way that we could tell a good story and tell people how to cook a whole hog. So, I mean, the book's really broken up in between telling that long family history of the barbecue traditions and what is Eastern North Carolina style barbecue, how to Sam come to then open his own place, Sam Jones Barbecue, just 10 minutes away from the original. And then, but the bulk of I guess the centerpiece of the book is about 25 pages on everything from building everything you need to know to cook a whole hog in your backyard. So that is building a burn barrel, getting a pallet of concrete blocks and building that concrete block pit, how to source a hog, how to season it, how to start the fire. I mean, all the way down to how to chop the meat and season it.
Wow. So it's not only is it a history lesson or a tale of a family steeped in barbecue tradition, but it's also a 25-page cookbook in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, if all goes well, I mean, there's going to be Home Depots and Lowe's around the country that are going to be running out of concrete blocks.
Yeah, right.
After this book goes on sale, that's the hope anyway. I hope they're ready for it. But really, I think what Aaron Franklin did with his barbecue book and getting people comfortable with the fact that if they really just studied that book and understood all those steps, that they could pull off like a really good smoked brisket. And I think just looking through the book and seeing all these steps and putting it all in layman's terms that I think anybody can understand, that it'll give people the confidence to know that, you know what, if I actually go through with this, like, this book is going to be here to guide me.
Daniel Vaughn joining me here on the show, tmbbq.com, his website. We're talking about the book that's going to be coming out May 7th, Whole Hog Barbecue, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue, the recipes from Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue. Daniel, I don't know Sam. I think I've efforted him a couple different times at random to come on the show and kind of talk about it. But, as you had mentioned, he's third generation. If I remember correctly from an interview that I had seen, there was some type of discord between him and his father as far as how they wanted to continue to run the restaurant, and that's how he ends up branching out. He wanted to do something a little bit different or something outside of the norm of what had been happening for two generations before that. Is it still a cohesive unit, or was there some type of a division that really caused him to have to go out on his own?
Yeah, it's definitely still a both or family-run operations. I mean, when Sam goes off and he's cooking whole hog at an event somewhere, he's representing Sam Jones Barbecue and Skylight Inn. Mm-hmm. Sam goes into Skylight. I mean, he was there on site when they had a fire just a couple of months ago. He was there with the fire department on site to help put out that fire. So yeah, he's still very much involved. There was a bit of a rift when he first opened Sam Jones Barbecue, but I think it had less to do with the fact that he was opening a second restaurant there than it did the fact that he was opening his restaurant on Sunday and that he was serving beer. His dad's a Baptist preacher, and it took his dad several months to even walk in the door of the place after it opened. One of the great stories in the book, though, is that, so this is rural North Carolina, really. And so Sam Jones Barbecue, the restaurant, is open up an hour later than Skylight Inn. Now, Skylight Inn, if they just pull the hog off the pit and they're chopping it and they don't cook it all and they're closing up, well, they have an agreement with the health department that they have an hour to serve that hog. And that means that they can truck it up to Sam Jones Barbecue and serve that pig. And so the first time that his dad came in was after Skylight Inn closed. His dad comes in, sits down, and Sam says he walks over, and he just knew something was going to be wrong. And his dad says, yeah, son, great job. This good barbecue. I mean, there's something a little different about it. I can't quite pick out. I don't know if it's the pits or the wood or, just who's cooking it back there. It's good, though. And he's like, oh, really? Something a little different about it, huh? Just not quite right. And he says he couldn't have been happier to let his dad know that he was eating his own hog straight from Skylight Inn, that there wasn't anything different about that hog. There wasn't anything different about who cooked it or the seasoning or anything else. So yeah, he said he knew that he was going to have some doubters about whether he could pull off the same good style whole hog that they get at Skylight Inn over at Sam Jones Barbecue. He just didn't think it was his dad was one he was going to have to convince.
Daniel, from a time perspective, how long does this book take to go from start to being released here in about a week?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think we started working on a proposal for this book to send to publishers in 2017. Yeah, in early 2017. So that gives you some idea. And before that, there was a year and a half or so just collecting interviews and stories. And but then, once it gets going, schedule everything. We got Denny Colbert, who's a great photographer, got him out on site, and he was right there with us doing all these bunch of this recipe testing. So he was there to capture all that. And Angie Mosier, another good friend, who was there to style the whole thing. So like everything, all the photos that you see in the book are really from a couple of parties that we had, so that we had a good excuse to cook all this stuff up and serve it on a big old table.
Daniel Vaughn joining me here on the show again. The book is called Whole Hog BBQ, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue, with recipes from Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue, going to be released May 7th. So head on over to Amazon.com and pre-order and keep it at that #1 status in the potato category at the bare minimum. The other thing I want to talk to you about tonight is the release, this was like last week or the week before, of what you call the midterm check-in. So everybody knows the Texas Monthly top 50 barbecue joints in the state. And here you have a top 25 new barbecue joints that was just recently released. Who is,
right.
If you look at the list of 1 through 25, is 1 the best and 25 is the 25th best, or is this just a listing of 25 of the best new ones out there in no particular order?
It's really just a listing of the 25 best new ones. I think a lot of folks in the magazine, online, it's a little hard to see as well. They're really listed alphabetically by city that they're in.
Okay.
So Evan Leroy over at Leroy and Lewis in Austin is getting a lot of congratulations for being #1 on the list, but that's just because Austin starts with an A. But Leroy and Lewis does some fantastic barbecue. I was actually just there a couple of days ago and got some of their beef cheeks. He does smoked beef cheeks throughout the week instead of cooking brisket. Brisket's really only a weekend thing. And he's got whole hog daily, which is a strange thing to see in Texas, but more and more places are doing it, and they do it well at Leroy and Lewis.
Is that something that the crowd is demanding? I mean, I think you obviously think of Texas and it's, beef and perhaps some ribs and sausage for sure. Obviously the beef ribs, but not necessarily, pork per se. But is that something that the crowd is demanding, or are the pitmasters and the restaurant owners trying to force it down the tube, if you will?
I really think it's a way for some of the pitmasters to separate themselves out. Like pulled pork here has been a thing for a while, but it's never, I think, crept up into really beloved status at most places. A smoked pork shoulder is great and all, but it's in Texas anyway. It's never really going to compete with a sliced brisket. But there's a certain amount of, I guess, panache that comes with being able to say you're cooking a whole hog. It's going to have a different texture. You're certainly going to have more fat coming in there as well. Some of the places doing whole hog, like Bangers in Austin, they're chopping the crispy skin into the meat as well. So you get that sort of textural variation that you're never going to get with just cooking a skin off, bone in pork butt.
Would you say it's just as good as a carrot, not anything in particular, but just a Carolina style hog?
I think it's going to take some more practice for that. I mean, I love the flavors that a lot of these folks are getting. But I mean, and not just because I wrote a book with Sam, but every time I go back to Aden, go back to Winterville and sit down at either Sam Jones Barbecue or Skylight Inn, like just sitting down and getting one of those sandwiches, taking a bite, just reminded like how special it is, why it's worth traveling for to eat that meat, because it is so good. It is so much better than you're going to get pretty much anywhere else.
Daniel, let me ask you an odd question. Lockhart was that proclamated as the barbecue capital of Texas?
Yes. As far as the state legislature is concerned, they have officially designated it the barbecue capital of Texas. Yes.
Would you be against some type of, like if I drafted a House bill or something along these lines and said, okay, well, Lockhart's been great, but let's really go ahead and give it to Austin. I mean, if you look at where Austin is as it continues to grow out and the level of barbecue that is there, I mean, shouldn't that really be the barbecue capital of Texas, Austin?
Well, then you're going to have a lot of folks from Houston who have got a good argument. Now, Houston, they have a whole lot of more area to deal with. They certainly are happy to be inclusive of all the surrounding towns that have good barbecue joints around Houston. But yeah, you're right. I mean, but first, really, before Texas is going to spend any energy designating any other city as a barbecue capital or co-capital or whatever, the fact that brisket itself or barbecue itself isn't recognized as a state food or state dish or anything like that, really, we've got chili.
Really?
And I can tell you that chili is the state food of Texas. It is the state dish. And I can tell you there's a whole lot more people that identify Texas with tacos, and a whole lot more people that identify it with barbecue than they do with chili. So that's something that we need to work on, I think, before we start worrying about who's the barbecue capital.
Are you a chili fan, or are you on the schneid with chili?
No, I love chili. It's just fine, but I don't know. I just don't I don't see a whole lot of requests for people who are headed to Texas and they got to know where to get that great bowl of chili.
Are you going to be making any appearances coming up? Are you doing a book tour or anything?
There is a book tour. I'm not going to be at all those locations, but we have so on the release date. So next Tuesday, we've got a big shindig planned at Sam Jones Barbecue in Winterville. So I'm flying in for that. Looking forward to getting back over there and just seeing all the folks that we worked with to get the book together. But I'll be staying at Samuel Jones. I won't be staying at Sam's house because it was actually his business partner, Michael Letchworth, who reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, by the way, we're planning this event on the 7th. You want to stay at my place?" So I thought that was pretty funny. My co-author here wasn't the first to extend the invitation. But hopefully he's listening in here, or he at least gets pointed to this in some way. And then in June 8th, we'll be down in Austin at the Yeti headquarters and cooking a whole hog there as well. So there's quite a few more that he's got planned. He's really always on the road at different events, and I know he'll be at the Windy City Smokeout in Chicago.
Nice.
They've got a big barbecue event planned out in Hawaii. Next 2 weeks from now, there's a big barbecue event in Los Angeles with Adam Perry Lang.
Nice.
Some other folks too. So yeah, he'll be getting around the whole country. That's for sure.
All right. I'm going to ask you a completely left field question, but you mentioned Adam Perry Lang. Whatever happened with that whole story with Jimmy Kimmel and
you mean
bombs
the house
and guns and all that
showing up?
Yes.
Yeah. The police department came out and said, all charges dropped. It was a swatting incident. It was somebody had called in an incident, a shooting at the home,
right,
and had acted as if they were calling from inside the home. Adam Perry Lang was the only one in the house. He had his phone turned off and was like just dead asleep. And they were banging on the door. He came out all groggy, like, "What's going on?" And they arrested him because they had been told that somebody had shot someone inside the house.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a complete fabrication. And it's all behind him now. He's actually opened up he's got the steakhouse APL in Los Angeles, and he's also opened up a barbecue joint as well. Like he's serving barbecue out of the side of the place.
Yeah.
And he's doing everything. He's doing brisket and pork shoulder and I think some smoked New York strips as well. So yeah, I'm anxious to get out there and try it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him back on the show so we can kind of rehash all that stuff and catch up since the last time. In the meantime, we're talking with Daniel Vaughn. He is the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly, tmbbq.com, his website. And don't forget about the new book that'll be releasing May 7th, Whole Hog Barbecue, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue, with recipes from Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue. Daniel, always appreciate the time and the conversation, my man. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's great talking with you. Maybe next time we can do it over some certified Angus beef down in Worcester.
All right. I won't hold my breath as you won't, but we'll see what happens. You never know. There he is, Daniel Vaughn. This guy, man, he is a pot stirrer of the 1st Brigade. All right. A little late, but that's all right. Good stuff. Sidetracked with the Adam Perry Lang, but I kind of lost track. I mean, I didn't lose track of it. Let me make sure I stop that. I had covered it for a couple weeks in a row, but never ended up hearing it, and I would Google whatever happened to it. Now we know. Let me talk to you quickly about Big Papa Smokers, the #1 online shop for all things barbecue. Their curated selection of only the best outdoor cooking and grilling supplies get you on the path to better barbecue results in no time. Everything at Big Papa Smokers has been pitmaster approved by Sterling Big Papa Ball himself, from the award-winning rubs and sauces to the American-made grills and smokers. Big Papa Smokers has everything you need to be a better outdoor cook. They have these great seasonings and rubs, flavors like Sweet Money, Cattle Prod, Cash Cow, Happy Ending, Little Louie's Seasoned Salt. The list goes on and on. 13, in fact, perfectly balanced flavors that transform ordinary meals into extraordinary. They also have a unique partnership with Steph Franklin and the gang over there at Simply Marvelous Barbecue. Put those two rubs together, now you're running the West Coast offense. Big Papa Smokers also. And recently, they've been running 50% off of this. Granny's barbecue sauce. Looking for that new go-to barbecue sauce that will please everybody? Granny's traditional yet powerful flavor reminds us why we fell in love with barbecue in the first place. And aside from the premium selection of rubs and sauces, they are retailing the best grills and smokers out there right now. If you're looking for a versatile smoker that's easy to use, check out the Mac 2-Star General Pellet Grill. Big Papa Smokers, the exclusive Mac dealer, and they even offer special packages. If you're not a fan of pellet cookers, no big deal. Take a look at the Old Hickory Ace BP, the only charcoal smoker that Big Papa trusts on its competition trailer. If you're a backyard barbecue enthusiast like me, looking for a durable and versatile grill that's easy to use, that will last forever, the M Grill from Texas might be just what you need. They're built like tanks. If you're not sure of what grill you need, well, you really can't go wrong with any of the items featured at BigPapaSmokers.com. They got something for every kind of backyard cook and budget. Have any questions? Give them a call, 877-828-0727. That's 877-828-0727, and let them know the Barbecue Central Show sent you. You can also visit their website at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BIGPOPPA Smokers.com. All right, let's wrap up the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Jeff Richards, Columbus, Ohio. You're listening to Barbecue Central.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
And thanks again to Daniel Vaughn from Texas Monthly, tmbbq.com. His website. Don't forget to check out the new book. I am going to try my darndest to remember to put a link into the show notes on that. Sam Jones and Daniel Vaughn team up and pen a book about whole hog. Tell the story of the Skylight Inn and Sam Jones Barbecue, how that happens, and in the middle of the book, 25 pages of how to cook a whole hog from start to finish. Great. Also, Max Good. Before Daniel Vaughn, AmazingRibs.com, talking about their best new products of 2019. We point to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Sean Bono. It's all about the Sean Bono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
Oh, listen, Liberty, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. Welcome aboard. You've found the Barbecue Central Show. It's this show that talks about live fire stuff. And we do it every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a variety of different channels like Facebook Live and YouTube Live and TuneIn.com or whatever the hell it is. If you go to the website, the BBQCentralShow.com, right at the top, there's 3 blocks. The audio stream, the Facebook Live, the YouTube Live. You pick which one you want. Also, at the very top, subscribe. So if you miss a live show, which most of you miss the live show on purpose because you have better things to do in your life, you can subscribe to the show's podcast and then you never miss it. Now, it's not as fun as listening live, but you never miss anything, which is good. Plus, if you are a live listener and there's items that you have checked off as being the funniest ever, you can always go back through the archives and listen to stuff that you might have found funny or interesting, or maybe there was a nugget of info that you meant to write down, but you've forgotten it, so you can go back and check it out there. Just subscribe on any of the podcast platforms. It is there. It is available for you to consume at your leisure. If you are not familiar with the new top 25 barbecue joints, and again, they were in no particular order listed by city alphabetically, Leroy and Lewis Barbecue, Loro, Charlie's Barbecue, Blood Brothers, LJ's Barbecue, 1775 Texas Pit Barbecue, The Switch, Panther City Barbecue, John Miller Black Box Barbecue, Pustka Family Barbecue, Feege's Barbecue, Revel Barbecue Company, Brick Vault Brewery and Barbecue Convenience West, Butters Barbecue, Rehino Barbecue, or I'll just stick with that, Brotherton's Black Iron Barbecue, Smokin' Moon Barbecue and Beer Garden, Harlem Road, Texas Barbecue, Brett's Backyard Barbecue, Smoke Sessions Barbecue, Blackboard Barbecue, Pitforks and Smoke Rings Barbecue, Guest Family Barbecue, and Hellberg Barbecue. Thank you. That list can be found at texasmonthly.com/barbecue/top 25 new barbecue joints, Texas. If you want to make a list, maybe you're heading down and you want to try out the new and the latest and the greatest top 25. That's how you want to do it. Still to come on the show tonight, Ted Conrad of Fireboard and Joe Phillips do a mashup. Joe's from Yoder Smokers. They're going to be joining me in the next segment. And then closing the show tonight, Chef Jason Morse from Ace Hardware. He is their, well, let me rephrase that. He is Ace's barbecue and grilling expert. We're going to be talking about a couple items there. Don't forget, follow me socially at BBQ Central Show on Instagram and Twitter, /BBQ Central Show on Facebook. Friend me, follow me, like me, text me. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday via John Solberg, a doubleheader back from 2013 with former steak champion Monty Brown of Trash Can Cookers. Remember that one? I do. Very cool segments. Also, that just goes to show you how long competitive steak has actually been around in some form or fashion. Again, that was a 2013 pull. So 6 full years. Email from Mark Schumacher. Hello, Greg. I hope you're doing well. Today, I have sent an email to grill support of Green Mountain Grill, but maybe this is a question that you might also be interested in trying to give me some advice on. It is about reducing smoke while firing up my Daniel Boone. The grill creates a lot of white smoke until it reaches the temperature of 90 degrees Celsius. What the hell is that? 90 degrees Celsius? Is Kinger still in the chat? He lives in Canada. That's a different country. What's 90 degrees Celsius in human temperature? Somebody tell me that. Every time, the gardens of my neighbors are filled with smoke, which I would like to reduce. Don't misunderstand. Everything is okay once the grill has reached temp, but at the beginning, it's a bit too much. A friend of mine doesn't seem to have such issues with his Traeger, for example. If I could fix this somehow, I would use my Green Mountain Grill a lot more often. Should I set the initial temp slightly higher or ignite the pellets with an external flame? Thanks for your help again. Your show is outstanding. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh, Mark, thank you for writing in. I have no idea what 90 degrees Celsius is. I don't have my phone with me, so hold on. Oh, I gotta go to Google. 90 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. Oh, no, 90. 90 degrees. So that's 194 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, here's what I am going to tell you, Mark. As a proud owner of a Daniel Boone and a Jim Bowie, by the way, I too have noticed that when you start it, there is a part in the firing up cycle where there is a large amount of smoke that is coming out. And that's because you have the starter that gets really red hot. That's starting to smoke the wood pellets that are in the burn pot. And at some point, there's a magic thing that happens, and the fan swirls around, the flame is born, and that's probably where the smoke clears out. That has to happen way before 194 degrees Fahrenheit or 98 or 90 degrees Celsius or whatever you said. That has to be that has to happen way before that. If it's not happening before that, then I would say that something is probably wrong. And I don't have any other option at setting my temperature. There's a startup cycle mark. So whether you set it at 200 degrees, I'm going to use Fahrenheit because I'm American. Whether you set it at 250 degrees or 275 degrees or 500 degrees, that's separate from the starting cycle of the lighting cycle of the grill. And that's the same for any. I have a Traeger Timberline 850. When that goes through the startup cycle, with the lid open, whatever, there is a good amount of smoke at startup because the wood is smoldering, getting ready to catch fire. Then the fan kicks on, then the flame is born, and then as soon as that flame comes on, same thing with the old OG Gorilla grill that I had, or that I have. There's a point at warm-up where it is billowing smoke. They all do it. As a matter of fact, I'll ask Joe Phillips next segment when you fire up. But there has to be some type of smoke combustion that is happening as that thing gets ready to take on flame. It's just simple thermodynamics, I believe. So I don't think there's going to be anything that you can do, Mark, to lessen the amount of smoke that is being generated at startup. And again, setting a higher temperature that you're going to be cooking at isn't going to eliminate what's happening at startup. It's just something you're going to have. The bigger question to ask here, Mark, is are your neighbors giving you crap? Are they like, oh, Mark, don't turn on that Green Mountain Grill over there because we're going to have 6 seconds of white smoke. Shut up, neighbor.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Mark, march this audio file right over to your neighbor or neighbors right now, and let me address them. Mark's neighbors, my name is Greg Rempe from America, and I say this with peace and love, peace and love. Starting on this date and going forward, from now on, if Mark is starting his Green Mountain Grill, there is going to be smoke. But the smoke is always going to be about 15 to 20 seconds. There is not going to be any more smoke after the flame is in the burn pot, unless he has done something tragically wrong during the cooking process and the thing is on fire. But neighbors, again, please do not give Mark any trouble over some white smoke for about 15 seconds. Because if you do, I'm going to tell him he needs to move. And you don't want Mark to move because I bet he makes some really great food. So again, I'm saying this with peace and love. Leave Mark alone. Anyway, peace and love, peace and love. Mark, I hope that helps. And by the way, I hope Green Mountain Grill, which they're always great with customer service, gets back to you. Maybe there is a tech issue. I don't know. I know on startup for me, there is white smoke, the same thing like you're talking. I mean, everybody else that's got a pellet cooker in Instant Chat, I mean, don't you have some smoke at startup? Everybody's got it, right? Everybody has to. All right, we have Joe Phillips and Ted Conrad coming up out of the break. I'm going to talk to you quickly about the Barbecue Guru. They have always believed that outdoor cooking should be easy because it can be, especially with the Monolith Barbecue Guru Edition grill. Monolith is the world's first temperature-controlled smoker with a built-in power draft fan. This means smarter control, greater freedom with automatic temperature control. Easily choose your cooking time and temperature, and let the Monolith do the work of a sous chef or a barbecue pitmaster. With minimal effort, you now have oven-like precision at the grill. You can serve the tastiest, juiciest meals each and every time. And again, since this cooker has a built-in power draft fan, if you already own a Barbecue Guru controller, you don't have to buy anything else. Wire that controller right to the fan, away you go. Now, if you want to upgrade the tech, go to the website, bbqguru.com, or call them, 800-288-GURU. Say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I was listening to the Barbecue Central show. I'm really interested in this Monolith. I have a XYZ old Barbecue Guru controller. I'm looking to upgrade the tech. What should I get? I like to do this, and that. And they'll tell you exactly what you need to know. They might offer you a couple extra accessories that they think might help enhance or make you a little bit more efficient to the live fire. Whatever it takes, they're here to help. 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. Or visit the website, bbqguru.com. That's bbqguru.com. And don't forget to ask for help if you have any questions. We are back with more Barbecue Central show right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
The only show giving you a monthly visit from a doctor of barbecue. A man actually named Meathead. The author of a barbecue Bible. Bloggers, reviewers, competitors, and manufacturers by the dozens. It's the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And this portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring, or connect via Bluetooth. If you have Alexa or the Google Assistant in your home, you're in luck because Fireboard is fully integrated with both. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232, or visit fireboard.com. All right, joining me now, let's call it a mashup interview of sorts. A longtime show sponsor, Ted Conrad of Fireboard, aptly enough, for the read that brought us in from the break, and a first-time guest to the show, a co-owner, founder of Yoder Pits. It's Joe Phillips and Ted Conrad. Gentlemen, appreciate you making time here for the show and doing this mix-up or mash-up interview here. I see Joe there to the left and Ted to the right. Joe, this is your first time in the show, so let's start with you first. Get a quick little background about you and your live fire stuff, and when Yoder became a thing for you.
Sure. So I'm Joe Phillips, Vice President of Yoder Smokers. Yoder Smokers was founded in 2007. We started building line offset wood pits. Introduced the pellet grill in 2010. Designed a control system, built several models, and worked on it through the years up until 2016. Till we got to a pretty happy spot with the product. Product was doing a real good job. Marketplace was accepting it well. Competition cooks were winning on it. Chefs wanted to cook on it. So we really focused on the flavor side of things and brought something a little different to the market in terms of construction and how it worked. And that's kind of who we are.
Were you somebody that had always grown up around live fire? Like, was barbecue a part of your upbringing and so forth?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we cooked a lot. In my past life, I built some other cookers. we started Yoder is kind of a fun thing, building some pits for family and friends. And one thing led to another kind of thing. Don Curry, our founder, opened All Things Barbecue in 2009 to sell him and a couple of family members to sell off some Yoder products and some other barbecue products, and he got searching for a pellet grill in the marketplace, and we become a dealer of a manufacturer and just weren't happy with the results. And we got talking about building a pellet grill, and a few months worth of conversation resulted in a pellet grill being built on our floor, and couldn't find a control system in the industry we were happy with. So we designed one. We started with a microprocessor. We were really focused on, our drive systems and our fire management's pretty unique. And really focused on the end result, a flavor profile that we were looking for. And, that was a really long quest. The early pits weren't great, but, we made upgrades available to the public. All the way through the very end, RYS 640, there's 26 versions of that software. We released about 7 of them to the public, always free, up until the place we got pretty happy with where we were. You fast forward into 2016, and, it kind of leads us into the conversation we'll have about Fireboard a little bit. We had, from a control system standpoint, we had taken the product as far as we could take it. We were out of bandwidth. We wanted to add some features, obviously Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a few things because the industry was at that place. So that was kind of the next dot on the map.
Ted, let's head over to you here for a second. Whenever you have been on the show, I have always tried to ask about new items that are going to be in the pike or might be coming down the pike. So tonight we can lead with it, as it was rolled out late last week, kind of a joint venture between you guys at Fireboard and Yoder. So let's go ahead and let me lead with you, Ted, and Joe, you can jump in after Ted's done. Tell me a little bit about the coming together of Fireboard and Yoder and what it exactly is and what it's bringing to the market.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks, Greg, first of all, for having us on.
Sure.
It's always exciting and fun to do this. We love your show, so.
Thank you.
So, Joe's, it's just been unbelievable throughout this whole project. I mean, they came to us, and I think the original discussion, and Joe, tell me if I'm wrong, but what I really felt like in the beginning was you had a quality brand that was manufactured in the U.S., and then you basically marry that up with another, hopefully, we believe it's a quality brand built in the U.S. And I think we're both, in a way, we're targeting the people that really just don't want to buy the cheapest thing out there. They're trying to buy something quality. They want good value, but they want something that's really a nice product. And I think Yoder and Fireboard both are striving to do the same thing. And so really with that release last week, it's obviously it's a new controller, and it adds the Fireboard technology, if you will. And we've been, Greg, we've been working on this for, several years now. We're still a relatively new company. But we've had a ton of support from the community. People seem to like what we've created. It's been a lot of fun doing it. And quite honestly, the whole project, creating a new product like this. It's a challenge. There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff to do. And it's probably the world's largest game of whack-a-mole. It's you just keep on whacking away and something else pops up. But if you're if you're persistent and if you're diligent, then I think you end up with a good product at the end of the day. So yeah, I think it's a pretty compelling offering what they have now. I mean, it's like I mentioned, all the Fireboard stack, essentially the technology that we have, and then adding a whole lot more. There's some really cool features in terms of drive programs, people being able to really control via the app and do all the things they would expect to do. But I think do them very quickly and easily. I mean, our thing with Fireboard is just make stuff work easily for people. They don't have to fiddle around and with a bunch of configuration and stuff like that. So that's really been our goal from this project, is make it work right out of the box. And I think it does just that.
Yeah. And to kind of add a little bit to, what Ted had to say there, we really wanted to marry our product with the best technology on the market. And, Ted and his group has done such a great job with that, we added a set of technology and UI that'll be industry leading. We're really excited about the relationship. A lot of cool features, both in the pit and app. And, one of the critical things for everybody involved in the venture is it created a platform to grow on. We were a bit out of bandwidth in our old design. It was a good design. We sold a lot of pits and won a lot of awards and done a lot of great things, but we couldn't go any further. So this gives us a great launching pad. It's a great product in the release, but really builds a future in the possibility of growth and things we can do moving forward. So it's really exciting.
Joe, from a customer standpoint, were you getting feedback or requests from your customer base saying, hey, we love the product, we love everything it's doing, but we would like some more tech or more interactivity or ability to control?
So sure, you have two verticals of customers. You had customers who just didn't care. They were happy with the old design and they were happy to buy a Fireboard or do something else. And then, you had another vertical of customer that wanted all the technology. So, we were certainly getting requests to particularly the Wi-Fi Bluetooth to have that capability built in. And we're just, we're not a company that goes part of the way. That just wasn't in our wheelhouse. That's not something we were experts in. So in building a relationship with Ted and understanding their capabilities and, helping us design a board, and the marriage just made sense. You take these two premium brands and piggyback them off each other, and we really feel like we've created something special.
Ted, is this a piece that is able to be retrofitted into other units, or is this something that is going to be on a cooker going forward?
Yeah, that's what's really exciting is we talked to Joe in the beginning. We kind of talked through the design and we all worked together on that. And this is really neat because you will be able to retrofit this in.
Oh.
And we worked pretty hard to be able to do that. So it's exciting that everything out there, effectively, the people have bought over the years, and they're saying, hey, look, maybe I'll upgrade the controller, and they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. We were excited to do that, and there's pros and cons. But I mean, honestly, I think this really ended up being a really nice way to use the existing hopper design that Yoder had perfected and drop in a new controller. So that's going to be fun.
I mean, obviously, Ted, it's exciting for Fireboard to be associated with a cooker that, for the folks that own it and for the brand and the reputation that it has developed here over the last handful of years. I mean, it's certainly one of the top pellet cookers out there in the industry today. For you guys to be attached to that in some way, how does that help Fireboard continue to grow within the live fire industry?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe the best story is just, even from the announcement, people have emailed and they've chimed in and they've said, hey, first of all, they've said this makes total sense. They get it. And they're excited about the fact that Fireboard is paired up with Yoder, and I'm thankful that Joe reached out. As I said, we're still a new company, but seem to be growing relatively quickly. By the way, my backdrop here is we're doing more electronics manufacturing now, so that's a little bit of a tangent, but it does relate to with this partnership with Yoder, because really being able to build more boards and building a product that effectively is going to be integrated into the Yoder product. I mean, it really made it important that we were able to manufacture boards quickly and efficiently. But no, the partnership with Yoder is really great. We're thankful for the opportunity, and we're really looking forward to it. I mean, it's been a lot of work, but it's also been a lot of fun.
Joe, let me ask you a question, because you're adding a small zoo going on over there, Joe. So,
sorry about that.
You have you have, I guess, it's an interesting dichotomy. So Ted's business is based solely on tech. I mean, Joe, you kind of strike me as a guy. I mean, obviously, a pellet cooker is going to have some kind of tech involved with it, or machinery. It's not just an offset cooker like you guys had originally started on. So, do you think, to some degree, while it's nice to be able to offer this kind of an enhancement or upgrade to your customer base, that technology does get in the way of people really learning how to cook, and take that away from the backyard warrior at all? They become reliant too much on tech, or is it just the nature of the beast?
No, I don't think so. I mean, here we sat on a phone call at near 10 o'clock. People are busy, so the ability to cook and create community and giving them a little more control makes sense. It's not, the purists would say, it's a little bit cheating, but in our busy lives and in the fast things we do, we want people cooking. It's what we want to happen. And if we can cause more people to cook because they have the ability to, check their pit with their phone or their iPad or, on their computer, I say it's a goal accomplished.
Ted, let me ask you a competing question, because I do think the dichotomy is pretty interesting. I mean, you're obviously a tech guy, tech business. You're doing technology here for the live fire industry, proof positive with the joint venture here at Yoder. But if, from a purchaser standpoint, if you were going out to buy a cooker, would you be inherently looking for a cooker that had more tech on it than didn't have tech on it?
Well, it's funny. If anybody's listening from our company, they'll be laughing right now, because I've been so far into tech for so long now, and so deep. I mean, if you don't hear from me in 10 years from now, and it's like, where did Ted go? I'm probably on an island, and I have no cell phone service, no technology. Done away with all buttons. But no, I love technology, but I think for me, the passion has always been building smart devices, and I love hardware. I've been doing software, but I guess I'm always intrigued with hardware, and it feels like the marriage of well-designed hardware with well-thought-out software yields really good results. I mean, you've seen that play out with Apple. They've been able to build just an amazing company with doing that. Mm-hmm. And so I hope in a small way, at least, we're able to kind of do some of the same things. And with the low and slow cooking, it makes total sense. As Joe said, people are busy. I've got 3 young kids. We're out on the weekends. We go to baseball games. I go to Home Depot. I go to run errands, and I want to check real quick to see what's going on. And I think everybody else does too, right? I mean, everybody's zipping around town. They want to be able to see what's happening. And, the pellet smoker is the perfect application for that, because it's able to control that fire so cleanly and so precisely. Then if you marry that with being able to do that on the phone, I mean, it just makes total sense. So, and I think it's worth mentioning. I mean, I almost feel like this is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have the control systems down. We've got the ability to, people have programs now they can set, but there's so many fun things on the analytics side of looking at the data, thinking about how to improve people's cooking, how to potentially do some automated things. People can go back and analyze some of their data. It's sort of icing on the cake, but those are all things that we can do, and those updates will be rolled out over the air. The apps will be updated automatically. So there's so many cool things we can do down the road with technology.
Ted Conrad joining me here on the show. What did I do? I think I did something with Joe's. Joe, you still there? Oh, he's there, but something happened. Oh dear.
Can you hear me okay?
Go. There you go. All right. Sorry about that. Ted Conrad from fireboard.com, and Joe Phillips joining me here from Yoder Smokers. That's yodersmokers.com. This is, Joe, this is something that's just being rolled out from here forward, or is it going on a specific new cooker, and then the controller is also going to be released out for retrofit?
So, we, along with the board upgrade, we made several other upgrades to our existing product line. So we call it the S series. The S series goes in full production a week from now. And, taking pre-orders, orders and responses have been great. So this will be the new Yoder pellet line moving forward.
All right. So if you're interested, go ahead, hit the website. If you're interested in the Fireboard products, I have a Fireboard and I absolutely love it. So I'm sure you will too. Plus, especially if you love multiple inputs, I mean, that is the mother of them all, is the Fireboard, no doubt about it. It is Ted Conrad and Joe Phillips joining us here. Guys, really appreciate you mixing in here and giving us a look from both ends, and continued success to you both.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
You got it. There they are. Ted Conrad and Joe Phillips from Yoder Smoker and Fireboard. Fireboard, longtime sponsor of the show. Yeah. Jason Morse coming up out of the break. Last time for this. So, because books are flying out, ready to purchase fast and furious. This one's been out for, 3 weeks or so. It's the Grill Seeker's book, Grill Seeker Basic Training for Everyday Grilling, my pal Matt Eads. The Grill Seeker book is here to show readers that gourmet grilling doesn't have to just be a weekend activity. With Matt's tips and tricks, you can craft amazing meals and create amazing memories for family and friends every night of the week. The memories, the camaraderie that grilling has created for Matt, dating all the way back to his teen years through his time in the Marines, fuel the desire to spread his passion for outdoor cooking. They're also the reason why he started the United by Flame movement on social media with the hashtag United by Flame. Within the book, you will find recipes for the roasted garlic-infused ricotta crostini and grilled grapes, a spin on grilled Nashville hot chicken, grilled peach boats with mascarpone ice cream, just to name a few. And it's out. It's ready to go. Grill Seeker, basic training for everyday grilling. Don't forget, join the United by Flame movement. Head on over to grillseeker.com, and at the very top of the site above the logo, click on the United by Flame link. Check out the page. Don't forget to send in a photo of you cooking in front of your grill or barbecue pit. Matt will share that on his page. You will officially become a member of the United by Flame movement. And don't forget, as you post on Instagram and Twitter, use the hashtag United by Flame, and you will get called out on that page. Former Marine, outdoor cooking expert, Matt Eads, and the book Grill Seeker, Basic Training for Everyday Grilling, available for sale right now. Head on over to my website for at least 24 more hours. Click on the logo, and that will take you right over to order it, or through the show link in the show notes. We are back with Jason Morse. BBQ Fest. What's that all about? Find out here in a second.
continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rampey.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Smithfield. You signed up for the Smoking with Smithfield National Barbecue Championship. Better be. Let me get over to the... There we go. Registration is free, by the way, so head on over to smokingwithsmithfield.com for all the details. Also, there's still a few spots left to be part of this year's Smokin' with Smithfield Committed Cooks program, so don't delay. Again, the website, smokingwithsmithfield.com. That is smokingwithsmithfield.com. All right, Ace Hardware has really gotten into the backyard and grilling sector here over the last few years. If you go to your local Ace, you can certainly see that from specialty products. You've only been able to get online before to replacement parts for some of the best brands in the industry. They have a great selection, all leading up to their biggest cooking and demo weekend of the year. BBQ Fest is happening this weekend at over 3,300 Ace locations nationwide. So let's hit the Fogo Charcoal Hotline and welcome in first-time guest, the BBQ and Grilling Expert for the Ace Hardware, Chef Jason Morse. Jason, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm absolutely fabulous, Jason. Appreciate you making time here for the show this evening. So quickly, let's address this, and that is the chef thing. That was a hot button term on the show for a while, and because there were a lot of barbecue folks who started using that specific identifier to describe themselves. Also, there were other folks who would just like sling the term chef around willy-nilly. In your opinion, what is the correct way to use the term chef?
Well, I'm a professional chef. I'm a certified executive chef. I work hard to have this title, and I think if you've ran a professional kitchen or if you've been professionally trained, you can call yourself a chef.
All right, Jason, hold on one second. Do you have the show in another window on the computer?
Yeah, should I shut that window?
Yes, immediately.
If you've ran a professional kitchen or if you've been professionally trained, you can call yourself a chef.
All right, Jason, hold on one second. Do you have the show in another window on the computer?
Yeah, should I shut that window?
Yes,
we are closed.
Are you? I can still hear it.
You want me to close down Skype?
No, just the audio's coming in from like another window, maybe of the computer.
I got you right now.
Okay. Whew. It's getting ready to claw my ears off there. Wow.
Right.
All right. So just to quickly circle back there, because we were kind of caught in the echo monster there. Proper way for using the term chef?
I'm a professional chef. I went to culinary school. I'm classically French trained. I took certification exams to become a certified executive chef. I think if you've ran a professional kitchen, if you've been trained as a chef, you can call yourself a chef. I mean, hey, I wouldn't get out on Instagram and call myself a doctor because I'm not a doctor. This is what we went to school for. This is my life. This is what I've done ever since I was 14 years old. I've cooked. I've never had any other job. I've always been a culinarian. I'm a cook. I'm a chef. And that's, kind of our feeling on it. And it's interesting. I was talking to another chef buddy about that the other night as well. And we all kind of feel the same way. This is what we do. This is our life. This is our passion. And we've been trained and done a lot of training to call ourselves a chef.
So if I see you on the street, should I call you chef? Or should I only call you chef if we're like working, if we're colleagues in your restaurant or wherever and you're the executive?
Yeah, that's always funny. A lot of my buddies and we call ourselves chef because for us, it means a lot to us, and I think some people use that term out of respect. It's awesome when I walk into an Ace Hardware store and they say, "Hey, chef," that makes you feel good. It's a very good feeling of mutual respect. I don't ever, think people owe it to me to call me that. I don't say, don't call me Jason, call me chef. I'm good with, whatever. Hey, dude even works perfect as well. But it's always a nice sign of respect, and it just shows that people understand who you are and what you do.
All right, so let's talk about your background in live fire. I mean, obviously, you said you were classically French trained. That seems to be, Tuffy Stone comes right off the top of my head, another guy who was a classically trained French chef who has obviously transitioned very well into the world of barbecue. How did you get involved in live fire, or was it something that you just kind of grew up around?
My dad always barbecued and grilled. My grandpa was the grill master of our family. I fell in love with it. I've done it ever since I was a kid. I was in Boy Scouts. I always naturally gravitated towards the fire, towards the cooking. And then it was cool because moving into culinary school and getting into some hotels and country clubs and restaurants that I ran. The last club that I ran, we had a ginormous barbecue and grilling contingent. And that was great because it allowed everybody just enjoys life a little bit better when there's barbecue, and it really afforded us an opportunity to connect with our members, to let my team show off what they knew, whether we were doing a Kansas City style or Memphis style or Carolina style or Colorado style barbecue. We loved it. We loved the grill. We loved to be kings of the grill, and we were really fortunate to have a country club that supported that because it allowed us to do that all the time. I mean, every event centered around barbecuing and grilling for us. And that just feeds and fuels our passion.
So where does the relationship or the coming together of Ace Hardware and Chef Jason Morse happen?
It was pretty cool. The background, I'm here at my local Ace in Highlands Ranch. I snuck in here before they closed tonight to hang out. And this is where it started for me. I'm a big Ace Hardware fan. I always have been because our Ace stores are so niche. They're so unique in what they carry, and it's always way more than a hardware store. So in my shopping here and interacting with Bill, who was in our grill department, Bill always had cool new chips for me to try or different things for me to try. And I would bring in rubs and sauces that we made at the club for him to try because we both kind of came together as, customers, and I was looking for something, and Bill had such great advice and guidance for me. And then I was able to become friendly with him. And then one day Bill said, hey, we're making a move for local. And this was about, 6.5, 7 years ago. He said, we're making a move for local products and you should consider it. And then I brought, 5 of our rubs that we made at the country club in and met with the owner and the manager and, did my spiel. Hey, I have no idea about retail. I'm a chef. I run a country club, but these are some of our products we make, and I would love to, let you sample them. So, boom, that's kind of how it started. And the owner and the manager they love to cook and they love food, and we all just got to talking. And what was super awesome about the entire thing is we found ways to work together. Obviously I was a small business. We had just started our 5280 culinary business, and Ace Hardwares are all privately owned and franchised small business owners as well. Right. And we found a way to come together and support each other as we grew. And it was the timing was perfect because barbecue was on fire, so to speak, and growing and growing and growing and becoming more every day versus unobtainium because, we have the tools and the gear that customers can replicate some of the, best barbecue things that they're eating. So it was nice because we sat down and talked about how we were going to do things and how we were going to, teach cooking classes and not only promote our barbecue products that we sold at the time, but how we could also engage the Ace Hardware customers because that's important to me as well. Yeah, my products are only as good as we can promote them, but I think the more that we can, work with our customers and teach them about barbecue and grilling, cooking. One of the gentlemen earlier said we're getting people cooking, and that's what we want to do. We want to engage them in the art of cooking, and hanging out in the backyard around the grill is one of the best places to be, in my opinion. So that's how we came together, and it's been just a beautiful marriage. And as we worked harder as a team and throughout the Rocky Mountain region, all the stores, as we all worked harder and did more cooking demonstrations and classes and consumer events and customer events, it turned into, how can we do this, instead of a few stores regionally, nationally, and now, working with Ace nationally. It's awesome because, I was just in Sturgis, South Dakota for a store opening. I was in Eagle Gypsum. I've already been in Oregon this year. I've been in Chicago. We've got BBQ Fest coming up. So I love it because I get to travel around and hang out with, retailers that are so passionate about the hardware side, but also the grilling side.
What I noticed, Ace had always been just kind of that jingle you had heard on television, and I wasn't really into barbecue back then as much as I am now here over the last, 10, 12 years. But there's a Ace 2-3 minutes right down the road for me. I don't know if they're participating in the weekend's event, but just going in and seeing the array of barbecue and grilling products that they had. And as I had said at the top, I mean, they have Blues Hog barbecue sauce. They have rubs from Rod Gray. These are things that you would have to go onto the internet otherwise and get in order to purchase, or you were like in the subculture looking for these things. I mean, I'm sure I could stand in front of that specialty thing and pull everybody over and go, hey, I guarantee you have no idea what this is, but this stuff is going to change your life, and quit buying the Casey Masterpiece and all, plus all the grills and the accessories and stuff. When did you see a trend to Ace really wanting to step into this live fire space and really, not be second fiddle?
Definitely not second fiddle. And that's what I love about Ace is everybody's so hardcore engaged in really having the best gear, from Traeger, Weber, Big Green Egg, to having the best gadgets, to having the best consumables, from pellets to Rockwood Charcoal to Jealous Devil to Big Green Egg. I mean, they want to have everything so that we naturally are the number one barbecuing and grilling destination. And we know our customers are coming in here looking for that niche rub or that niche sauce or that hard to find charcoal or hard to find pellet. And a lot of your Ace retailers are going to have that. And that's what makes it so exceptional is they want to know what's out there. Ace wants to know what's hot and hip. I had a conversation with Mike at Code 3 Spice, and he and I were both kind of talking, and they always say, there's room for everybody here, and there really is. I mean, if you produce a product that is a top-selling product that is out there in the marketplace, there's room on the shelf because the Ace retailers want to have in their stores what their customers are looking for. And I think it's great because I'm sitting here looking around today and I'm noticing things that I know I'm going to add to my arsenal in our barbecue trailer. But it's just great. I mean, they always say more than a hardware store. You can walk in here and not only find cooking tools and supplies and houseware items, but this barbecue department is just massive. And it's great seeing, our retailers grow their barbecue sets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger based on the demand. I mean, that is really, that's a feel-good moment, I think, for all the retailers and myself, just, being involved in it.
Chef Jason Morse joining me here on the show, Ace Hardware's barbecue and grilling expert. All right, so let's talk about this coming weekend, Jason. BBQ Fest is happening, and I said over 3,000 Ace locations across the country. So what is the event? What can you expect if you have a participating location around you? If you show up, what can you expect?
Head over to your local Ace, see if they're participating in it. BBQ Fest is such a cool event. I remember, a couple of years ago when we were getting it off the ground and getting everybody involved in it. And a lot of people asking, why am I doing this? Why should we be involved? Not why should we be involved, but why do we want to be involved? And how do we get more involved? And what can we do? BBQ Fest is everybody's kickoff, really. I mean, I know a lot of states grill year round, but really the true start, this is Ace Hardware's way of saying, hey, come in and see what we have. It's the store's way of showing off all of their gears and grill and gadgets. We've got a lot of different cooks from KCBS and NBBQA. I've got 12 different folks out cooking. You're going to see store demos, product demos. You're going to taste food. You're going to get to taste drive grills. You're going to get to see everything in action. You're going to have all the experts in the store, so you can ask questions. You can talk about, the next grill that you need on your back patio. You can ask about different products and things. It's really a great familiarization tour where you can head to your local Ace and just stand in the grill department and look around and just go, wow, because the amount of stuff that they have at the stores is just fantastic. Then you get to eat. Then you get a little bit of knowledge. Then you get to meet, some of the local pitmasters and just have a blast. It's our way of letting everybody know we're your number one destination for barbecuing and grilling. And, more than, going to a store, you're coming to your neighbor, and this neighbor supplies some pretty epic barbecue.
So if you are a social media maven as well, and you are at a participating Ace location. If you're taking Instagram or Twitter photos, hashtag Ace BBQ Fest, and maybe you'll get retweeted or re-Instagrammed or whatever the hell they call it. I'm not sure what the kids say these days. But use the hashtag repost. Yeah. That's right. Look at this. Not only a chef, but a social media maven himself. Look at this guy.
I have 2 kids in high school, so.
Well, I have I have 2 kids in high school too. You're just a little bit quicker on the uptake than me, I guess. Hashtag Ace BBQ Fest if you're going to be shooting some pictures and all that stuff. Jason, let me ask you about steak. What's your favorite method of cooking steak? You hear a lot about traditional stuff with sear first and then finish low. Then you hear a lot on the low and slow now, and then doing reverse sear. You hear sous vide. Yeah. What do you like?
Honest, reverse sear is just epic. I enjoy everything about that. We just did. We're testing a new rub for our business. We just did some tests last night on prime ribeye cap steaks. Did a reverse sear. Kids were stoked. Everybody was happy at our house. And I had a little bit of leftover for breakfast this morning. That was delicious. But I really enjoy the reverse sear, and I like the progression of teaching that to our customers as well. It's been fun. We do a lot of barbecue classes, and we teach that reverse sear because it's so highly in demand. And I think the beauty of it is really being able to enjoy that entire piece of meat at the degree of doneness you wanted. So if you wanted it medium, now literally from the window to the wall, you have a steak that's 100% medium, but we're able to impart some smoke flavor in it. We're able to sear it hot and fast on the backside, so you get a beautiful crust on it. And really, it's the best of both worlds, all worlds, from the beef side to the smoke to the crust, because they get everything in that piece of meat. And I found you can do it. We're doing it on tri-tips. We're doing it on New York strips. We're doing it on ribeyes, on cap steaks. We're doing reverse sear on pork as well. And just having a blast with it. It's just fun. And I think everybody absolutely enjoys that flavor.
Where are you going to be this weekend for the BBQ Fest? You floating around a multitude of locations?
I am here. I have signed a lifelong agreement for every large event we do. I will be here at the place I started. I love the store. I love all my Ace retailers and stores. This place is near and dear to my heart. I will be here hanging out in Highlands Ranch. I've got a squad with me. We have a lot of cool stuff. We're doing Hasselback potatoes with the Colorado Potato Council, topped with some barbecue pork. We are going to do reverse seared ribeyes on the beefer and the big green egg. And then we are going to do a couple other cool little things. But I'll be here hanging out. We're going to get here nice and early and roll smoke early and get set up and then have a blast. I mean, it's such a great day. It literally takes me a week to come down from the high of BBQ Fest. It's such a great time. So
the high of BBQ Fest in Colorado. I get it. I get it.
See what you did there.
So you can check Chef Jason Morse out at his local Ace if you're going to be around there, or there's going to be 299 other Ace locations across the country.
That's awesome.
Hashtag Ace BBQ Fest if you're going to be taking pictures, share them around and see what's happening. Jason, really appreciate the time tonight. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Great show.
You got it. Thank you. There he is. Chef Jason Morse. 5280 is the company that we didn't talk about because we ran out of time, but we'll do that next time and see what's happening in his rub and sauce business. And there you have it. All right, so let me quickly get through this. No, I think I'm all cut up, actually. All right, so that was Chef Jason Morse, the Ace BBQ and Grilling Expert. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Stick around.
Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
All right. Welcome back. Thanks again to Chef Jason Morse. And we are getting ready to run right out of here all the way back in the first hour. It was Max Good, AmazingRibs.com. We also had Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly's barbecue editor, TMBBQ.com. Talking about his new book, available May 7th, so just about a week from now. Second hour, Joe Phillips, Yoder Smokers, and Ted Conrad from Fireboard talking about their joint effort. Again, that new controller that they've made will be able to retrofit in all the previous versions of their cookers, so you have that. And we close it out with Chef Jason Morse, Ace Hardware's BBQ and Grilling Expert. Big show planned for you next Tuesday. As always, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.
This is Jimmy Burns from Malvern, Ohio, and you're listening to